Hello, once again, and thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. Okay, so timer was going crazy, but we are here. We're live now. Hello, and thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. My name is Thomas Metal 75. This is your Massachusetts Itchy Nose, Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Interesting beer. I bought this beer to probably have with Thanksgiving dinner. I had one before Thanksgiving or the day before and chose to not use this particular beer. But here's what we got today in this episode. This one is from in Can and Brewed or Brewed and Canned by Industrial Arts Brewing Company, a new favorite of mine. From Garnerville, New York. This is called Autumn Landscape. It's a New York common lager. Bam. So looking this one up, Beer Advocate actually is calling this a California common / steam beer. Now, you can't really call any beer in the world a California common beer because the Anchor Brewing Company in San Francisco, California, has trademarked the name. So every other beer style that's doing one of those kind of beers has to be called a steam beer, which basically is kind of like a cream ale. It's kind of like a Kolsch, where using an ale yeast or using a lager yeast, but you're brewing it or you're fermenting it and storing it at a higher temperature like an ale. So more fruity esters are going to be able to come out of this beer style. This was packaged on 9/30, September 30th, 2020, and it's 5.6% alcohol by volume. Industrial Arts Brewing.com says Autumn Landscape New York Common Lager, deep gold with a toasty malt body and spicy peppery hop notes. 100% of the profits of this one are directly benefiting Soul Fire Farm, righteously fighting for food system equality in the Hudson Valley. That's pretty cool. And it's not getting any ratings yet on Beer Advocate for the 2021 that I'm holding up right here. But they say it's a lager fermented with yeast tolerant of a higher ale-ish fermentation profile. Our 100% New York common lager welcomes cold temps with toasty notes of freshly baked bread, a peppery hop note, and a wash of fresh malty characteristics. So this proves to be one interesting lager beer. Let's see what goes on with this Industrial Arts Autumn Landscape. Hello, Tyler Mansell. Put it in this glass again, the Shipyard Tulip style glass. Let's see what this Autumn Landscape is all about, shall we? All right. A little bit left in the can. That is a nice copper orangey style color, definitely, with another bone white looking head. Can you see any carbonation in there? Not much. It's pretty hazy for what it is, yeah. Seeing real small, fine particulates, but nothing chunky or anything like that. There you go. Some nice carbonation in there. Definitely looks the part of a California Common, a steam beer. Definitely smelling very clean. There's a nice clean water, mineral-y water sort of scent to that. Definitely caramel and toffee malts all over that beer. A very toasty, almost brown bready, but maybe it's more like a very toasty white bread kind of a malt in there. There's definitely like an apricot, or there's some kind of like a fruit jam a little bit Not much though. Sometimes you can get like a fruit marmalade kind of smell. A little bit. It definitely has a amber lager, amber beer kind of forward smell. It almost reminds me in a way. Oh, I lost my train of thought there. It almost reminds me in a way. Oh, right. Like an English bitter or a ESB or something like that. Just with more of a cleaner malt bill. Maybe it's on a little bit of the grassy hop side and kind of grainy too. So, I mean, smelling the part of California common beer. Steam beer. Sorry, steam beer. But let's drink it now. The New York Common Lager, Industrial Arts, Autumn Landscape. Cheers to you all. Yeah, this is why I didn't drink this one with Thanksgiving. It's very, very hoppy for what it is. I'm not sure what the AB or the IBUs are on this beer, but it's fairly aggressively hoppy for a lager beer. Fairly bitter, fairly floral, and very earthy. Maybe even a little bit of like pine and grassiness in there. Definitely. Definitely there's a fruity element to the beer. There's definitely like a, what was I saying, like an apricot or peach, maybe not peaches, like apricot, like a marmalade or something like that. My mind wants to say strawberry. That's not right. It's very crisp and clean for the most part, ultra refreshing. The bitterness is really huge. I think it almost outshines a majority of the malts in here, unfortunately. But it is clean overall. Lots of caramel and toffee malts, lots of toasty brown bready, or no, not brown bread, toasty white bread. Put marmalade spread on that thing. Eat a Werther's. You got a beer right there. Did I say crisp, clean, ultra refreshing? Yeah, that basically a straight up medium mouthfeel on that bad boy. Let's see. This is my favorite lager beer of all time. Hell no. Is it a well put together beer? You bet your behind it is. But for me at least, this is very unbalanced hop to bitterness wise. So I mean, what would I rate this beer? How can I be perfectly perfectly polite to the beer without rating it negative? I'm going to be honest in my beer review. I'm going to give that an 84. Sure. There's a real sharp bitterness to it. Definitely I can feel this sharpness towards the back of the throat for damn sure. There's a little bit of chewiness to it. It's not just a plain watery mouthfeel, bodied beer, but there's some chewiness to it. There's some caramel toffee. Definitely way too much bitterness in this beer. They need to do this beer again next year and put way more emphasis on the malt and the lager yeast. It's not very sweet, but I still think that there's way too much hop element to this beer, and it's overshining the style of the beer and letting that style shine through. But I do think it's well made, and I think it's at least a B range beer. I might even go with 83. Let's go with an 83. This needs to be way less hoppy, I think. But roast dishes, fish and chips, maybe this would be good. Maybe if you can kind of substitute an ESB for this, if you want an ESB with like a lot of hoppy flavor to it, this might be kind of a direction to go. But I like the style of beer where it's more malt forward. And Tyler Mansell is saying this sounds like a pale ale, pale lager. Yeah. What's up, Drug I Won't? Yeah, it's like real earthy, real floral, grassy, hoppy marmalade. It's kind of a strange beer. I'm going to give that an 83. It doesn't have for me a high drinkability at all. Nope, none of that. So, yeah, 83. It's okay. I won't ever buy this one again unless they do a rehash of it and they work on this recipe. I think it's a little bit of a mess, but it still gets in your B minus range. So until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon. Does Tyler or Drunken One or John Womack want to be a part of a off-air StreamYard thing? I can set one up. And see you soon.